So let's talk a little bit about the LG G6. It's been about 2 months since its release, and I'm using the phone on and off throughout that time, and I really like it, and I figured it's a good opportunity to go back, revisit the G6 with fresh eyes, having more experience and used it longer, get into 5 to 7 days we typically do before we do our reviews. And stay tuned to the end of this video because we're giving you a chance to win a brand new LG G6. So before I jump in to talk more about the G6, I want to just revisit the G5 for just like a hot second. I promise I'm not going to dwell. The G5 was like a huge risk for LG to try something modular, try something new. Didn't work. So I want to give LG credit for not like doubling down on a design and sort of a new way forward that wasn't going to work for the company. They came with a fresh slate, and the fresh slate ended up being the G6. I think every phone kind of has a big story, and I think with the G6, the big story is that 5.7-inch QHD Plus screen. And we've seen 5.7-inch phones before. You're like, John, we know what that looks like. But this is like a weird aspect ratio. It's 18:9. You're getting a lot of screen in a very tall package. So what that means is it's going to be a narrow in your hand to hold. So you can hold the phone without having it feel like ginormous sort of Nexus 6 style type device. But that new aspect ratio lends its way to a really new, unique way to use the device. I could have 2 squares on either side of the screen running side by side without having to sort of shrink one a quarter of the way and make one the main screen. They could be equally sized, and it's really productive for me. There's a lot of software that LG put in to take advantage of that new aspect ratio, and the more you use the phone, the more you can appreciate it. The big things though with the screen is certainly video. You want to make sure your video is gonna look good, and it is going to look good. The screen is awesome. The screen is beautiful. It's vibrant. When you turn the brightness up, colors absolutely look gorgeous and pop. Even when you go outdoors, you're still gonna get a nice, beautiful screen, albeit a little more washed out than I would have liked. Also new to the phone is HDR, which is something in technology that's going to become ubiquitous, I think, in the probably next generation of phones. You're going to expect them to have HDR. So I read the comments, and I've contributed to this discussion. The processor is Snapdragon 821 with 4 gigs of RAM. And I know it's not the latest from Qualcomm. It's not the 835 like maybe another phone you're considering might have. But for usual productivity and for games and for watching video, there's very little difference. For most people, 821 is a plenty powerful, really battery-friendly chip. And speaking of battery, when I went to the briefing for the G6, LG spent a really long time talking about how they test their batteries, make sure they gave their batteries room, essentially everything they could say without saying, we really don't want these phones to blow up. So there's a little smaller than what maybe we would have had if it wasn't for the Note 7, 3300 milliamp hour battery. LG's got a nice reputation, especially for their, V line of phones with high quality audio. It ain't here on the US version, which is weird. You got to buy the Korean version if you want that. So bear that in mind. LG's skin hasn't changed that much since like the G5 and the V20. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It seems a little too bold and a little cartoony for me. And I also didn't like some of the apps that LG's bundling to replace Google apps. So there are 2 13 megapixel cameras, but they're not the same. One's sort of a standard camera. The other one's a wide angle camera, shoots 125 degrees. I really like the option of having both. In fact, when I didn't have both, when I was using something like my S8 Plus, I kind of missed it. The wide angle lens doesn't have like auto stabilization or anything like that. But when you want to take those wide angle shots, it's really kind of cool. And the pictures do come out really nice using sort of this standard 71 degree normal lens. Rounding out the list of stuff, I guess you'd expect now on a flagship phone, IP68 is here. So water resistance. So you could take this thing in a shower, but we didn't just want to take LG's word for it. Andrew readily volunteered to hop in a shower with the phone, stripped down. I don't know why he wanted to do it, but he did to test the phone if it worked. And strangely, we have B-roll of that. So if you guys want to see it, thumbs up the video and let us know. So yeah, 2 months with the LG G6. If this phone existed in a vacuum without like another, say, flagship competitor, it'd be a killer phone. It'd be the phone I'd be like, yeah, dude, dudette, go buy it. You're not going to regret it. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. There's a lot of really good options there, but let it at least be one of the options you consider. And because we like you guys and want you to have a good phone, we decided to give away a G6. It is a international giveaway, so please do not yell at me about that. It is a T-Mobile locked unit, so know that going in if you live outside the US and you win, but you can pick up an unlock code and use it anywhere. I will put all the information up on the screen. Essentially, hit the link down below, article on technobuffalo.com, and that's where you'll do all of your entering. And let me end with a comment of the day from a colleague and a gentleman that I admire from our BlackBerry Q1 video, Mr. Mobile himself, Michael Fisher. He said, "That's what Android is all about, giving you options to find the phone you want." Word. So, Mr. Fisher, I salute you, and I agree.